How can you install Python packages? We have a program here called name.py, which doesn't work right now. It doesn't work because it uses the requests module, which isn't included with Python. This is a popular module that's included in the requests package that you can install from the Python package index by using a tool called pip that comes bundled with Python. So we can use pip by typing python 3-m pip, and then we can install the requests module. So now that pip has installed the request module, we can run our code and see that it works. Now we've just done something we probably shouldn't have done. We installed a package globally. So if we ask pip to list all our packages, we'll see that there's requests as well as urllib3, and we don't know how many of these packages were dependencies of requests or were packages that were installed due to something else on our machine. It's usually recommended to install packages into a virtual environment so that if we had multiple projects that needed different versions of the same package, we wouldn't have a problem. Also, it's a lot easier to figure out which code in our machine requires which dependencies to run if we're diligent about using a separate virtual environment for each project. So we have a different project here called Make Screencast Card, and it doesn't work either because it uses a module called PIL, which comes bundled in a package called Pillow. Now before we install Pillow, we're going to make a virtual environment by using Python's venv module. Now we're asking the venv module to make a directory called venv, which represents our virtual environment. We'll talk much more about virtual environments later, but we need to activate our virtual environment in order to actually use it. Now this command is different on different machines. That's the command on my machine. It might be different on yours. I can tell I'm in an activated virtual environment because my prompt will change. It will show the name of my virtual environment just before it. So now we can finally install Pillow by using pip as before. But now when we install it, we'll be installing it into our virtual environment. So if we run our code again, it works this time. It generates a JPEG for us. But if we do a pip list, we'll see that unlike before, we don't see requests or urllib3 or any of the other packages. We see very little outside of just Pillow because our global dependencies on our machine, our global Python packages, are isolated from the packages in our virtual environment. Now, pip and virtual environments are great. They're not the only packages for managing Python packages, though, for installing Python packages. They're the two that come bundled with Python. There's also pipx, which is a pretty popular one right now, and it's used for installing global command line tools within their own separate environment. So you'll still have the ability to run whatever program is actually installed by pipx, but you won't clutter up your global pip dependencies. So when you run pip list, you won't see countdown CLI in that list. But there's also a bunch of other tools, and these tools change with the time. So pipx is popular right now for global dependencies. pipenv is one that folks sometimes use for trying to bundle together pip and virtual environments into one tool. And Poetry is a pretty popular one if you're making a third-party library because it can help you build and actually publish that third-party library to the Python package index. So for installing Python packages, the tool pip that comes bundled with Python is the usual way to do it. But don't install packages globally if you can avoid it. It's usually recommended to use a virtual environment, and we can talk more about those later. Also, if you're using Anaconda, you should use Conda for all of this instead. Conda is the command within the Anaconda world that replaces pip and virtual environments.